Hey, what's the matter guys? Thanks for tuning in. In this video, I will be doing a spoiler-free review of Assassin's Creed Mirage, so stick around. I wanted to play the full story of the game before releasing a review video, and now that I have, it's time! Thank you to Ubisoft for sending me a copy of AC Mirage, and thank you guys for supporting this channel, as I would not get these opportunities without you guys. Now, time for me to stop being a soppy twat and get into this video. The combat is simple, I would say. The parry can be a little overpowered, but that's the same in most AC games, so I mean that's fine, it's kind of tradition I guess. There aren't that many enemy types, so you basically face the same 3 enemies throughout the game. There's the spear guy, who you parry all their attacks. Swordman, who has a mixture of parry and dodge attacks. And the big laddie, who you have to dodge each time. I think the main positive from this combat system I can give is the stamina, as you can't constantly be pressing the dodge or parry buttons, and you have to use them sparingly, which makes for a far more grounded combat experience, and to be honest, I'd quite like to see this going forward. Maybe just having more enemy types and giving those enemy types more variety in attacks would be better, because it did get a bit simple. Now, the parkour. Now, I'm not that much of a parkourist myself, is that a word? The parkour is the same system as Valhalla, but the environment of a dense city results in more parkour paths and options. You're more likely to do parkour in AC Mirage than you were to do in Valhalla, because you're exploring a city that has lots of parkour paths, the buildings are closer together. I did not expect a huge change in the parkour or gameplay, as I feel that change is more likely to happen in Codename Red or Hexe, since those games will be for next gen consoles and not playable on Xbox One and PS4. It's an improvement from Valhalla, Odyssey, Origins, as those 3 games it's kind of more climbing, and then it's also an improvement from Syndicate because the houses and buildings are actually close enough together to do parkour. Oh boy, black box missions are back and should be a staple of Assassin's Creed moving forward. It can be a little easy to escape from locations, I'd say. The building sizes are quite small, which might be because at the time they were just trying to scale it to what they would be like in real life. But yeah, I'd say the building sizes are quite small compared to Unity and Syndicate, which makes it easier to escape from them, especially since there's so many entrances to easily exit from these buildings. Also, the options to carry out the mission are not as stylish as a Unity or Syndicate. By that I mean there were some unique ways in those games to assassinate your target. In Mirage, for the main order targets, it's basically one option. I'm glad the black box missions have made a true return, and I hope they improve the variety of options in the next installments. Now, the story. The opening of the game failed to hook me into Basim's journey. I did enjoy the more serious stoic tone of the game, but I think it fails to differentiate each of the main characters as a different person. All the assassins for the most part behave the exact same way, with Basim being the only one to have an occasional burst of rage. So yeah, it doesn't feel like all these assassins have unique personalities and such, which, you know, as human beings they should. But yeah. Roshan was a supportive mentor figure to Basim. He could kill lots of people, but was not much else in the story. I felt Kong had some promise, as he knew Basim when he was younger, but he just kind of fades out the story. Same with Fulad. He also had some promise, and after his kite story, he began to become a less one-dimensional character. Then he goes back to being an exposition bot, spewing out information required to do the next mission. It's pretty much the same for most characters there, around for a couple of missions and then fade out of the story, or become a background NPC. You can probably guess from my glum review.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I'm glad it's came out, but as good as it is returning to the roots of this franchise, I think pushing the story and gameplay forward is the main thing missing from this installment. Basim's story simply doesn't have enough to carry the game by itself. The backstory I felt could have been packed with more missions and more interactions with the characters there, so then you could feel the impact when certain thing happens. And the modern story could have really pushed this series forward, especially if it was William Miles as the modern day protagonist. That would have been so much more interesting, but then, well, nothing. Than no modern day story. But to be fair, not if it was voiced by this guy.
Asked me once about this memory. I lied. I told you it was lost. I worried the wrong lesson would be learned.
No, you stay. We need to find that key, and time is running out. I'll make the trip.
Moving on, this game is a hard playthrough. It's a hard one to judge, as Mirage was gonna be a Valhalla DLC, but they clearly changed that because there was already 20 DLCs for that game. It makes clear improvements from most of the recent games, but does not do anything new or better than games from a decade ago, apart from be playable, so that's nice. Honestly feels more like it should be in competition with Freedom Cry and Liberation, as it does not push the series forward with this installment. It shows some new stuff for fans to geek out about, but for me it's a sideways step instead of continuing the modern day plot with Basim, which is much needed. That's my spoiler-free thoughts on this game, but I will be releasing more videos which will delve into the game further. Thank you guys for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts on the game along with what you agree with or what you completely and utterly despise about my existence. All is welcome in the comments down below. Check out all of my other AC videos on the channel. You are spoiled for selection, and bye for now.